Guys, Bitcoin just spiked to $82,000 as Trump tweeted he is pausing tariffs for the next 90 days. So let's take a look at all the green charts now, but don't let the headlines fool you. This isn't over. This is just the eye of the storm. Behind the scenes, yields are still rising, liquidity is still tight, and the macro pressure has not let up. Today I'm going to break down what this surprise move means, how it ties to Bitcoin's next move, and why I still believe a parabolic run is still coming, but not before some sideways chop. So let's get into it right now. This is the 10-year yields, okay? When yields go down, bond prices go up, and vice versa, okay? It's been moving the last couple of days up, right? Even though the administration has wanted to drop. So what are some of these reasons? And the last couple of videos I've been saying, hey, we need to watch this. We need to watch this. Today I'm going to tell you the reason why, okay? But first, let's take a look at some nice charts. Finally, right after this drop, right here, okay? Bitcoin, the Dow Jones, big move up. The NASDAQ, big move up. One day got back 4 or 5 days of losses. Same thing with the S&P 500. All right, on the Trump news. Okay, but now we have to take a look at this information. But first, the Trump news. Trump announced a 90-day pause on all new tariffs. Markets reacted instantly. Bitcoin pumped, as we just saw. Stocks surged across the board. NASDAQ, S&P, Dow, all sharp intraday gains. This is clearly being seen as a short-term win for risk assets. It takes the pressure off fears of an immediate trade war escalation, which was happening, right? I don't need to tell you that Trump put 104% tariff on China, and China retaliated by increasing their tariff to 84%, right? So it was a game of chicken, like I mentioned yesterday. It takes the pressure off fears of an immediate trade war escalation, which was happening, and it gives traders an excuse to re-enter positions after weeks of caution. But let's keep it real. This isn't a reversal. It's a timeout, okay, for now. Trump himself called it a pause to encourage fair negotiation, which means the threat of tariffs is still hanging overhead. We might just be in the quiet phase before another round of market chaos in 90 days. Pure speculation on my part. This is how it could break, but we always have to have different scenarios in our head playing, right? And even with this temporary relief, the bond market is still screaming. Yields are elevated, financial conditions remain tight, and that's where the real macro pressure is building. So let's break that down. All right, so the 10-year yield and why it could be one of the most important macro levers for crypto right now. All right, at the time of this recording, the 10-year yield was hovering around 4.5 to 5%. Where is it right now? It's at 4.3. It's dropped some, as you can see. It was pretty high. Okay, it's been moving up, as I've been mentioning to you. And this move isn't random. It's being driven by some serious macro pressure, and every piece of it affects liquidity, risk appetite, and of course Bitcoin. So what's driving yields higher? Here's the quick breakdown. Inflation expectations. If investors think inflation stays sticky, they'll want higher returns to protect their purchasing power. That drives yields up. Strong economic data, hot GDP, jobs, and spending numbers tell the market the Fed won't cut rates soon. That triggers bond selling and yields climb. Fed policy, even a whiff of higher for longer from Powell, pushes yields higher. Markets move fast on Fed tone. Supply and demand. The US is flooding the market with treasuries while big buyers like China are stepping back. That imbalance means higher yields. All of this tightens financial conditions, and tight conditions are never great for risk assets like crypto. Okay, what's the basis trade and why it's gasoline on the fire? Now, there's a more technical layer here, the basis trade. It's a strategy where hedge funds borrow money to profit off the price difference between treasury bonds and their futures, arbitrage. But when the trade unwinds, meaning they sell the bonds aggressively, it can spike yields fast. It's not the main driver, but it amplifies the move in short bursts. So yeah, it's technical, but when billions in leverage unwind, it becomes part of the story. So why should crypto care? Crypto, especially Bitcoin, competes for capital. When yields are low, investors chase upside in risk assets. But when the 10-year yield hits 5%, a risk-free, right, quote unquote, risk-free return suddenly looks more attractive to institutions. We're talking institutions that have hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. So 5% on $1 billion worth of risk-free move. they'll take that all day, guys. Okay, short-term outlook in 1 to 2 months. If we see yields break above 5%, especially with basis trade unwinds in play, we could see 15 to 25% downside in Bitcoin, especially if liquidation stacks up. I wouldn't be surprised. But if Bitcoin holds key levels and the spike is short-lived, we could see dip buyers step in fast, treating it as just another shakeout. Midterm outlook 3 to 9 months, yields holding at 4.5 to 5% likely means sideways or slow grind lower for crypto. Not a full collapse, but it'll cap big upside unless macro shifts. Okay, but if yields roll over and inflation cools, we could see a strong 20 to 40% recovery, especially with ETF flows and adoption back in the mix. Long-term outlook 12 plus months out. If I'm right and we're heading towards a parabolic Q4, then this yield noise is just the setup. Once the Fed pivots or inflation breaks, yields will drop, liquidity opens up, and Bitcoin could explode higher. In that world, basis trade drama is just background noise. All right, the real story becomes adoption, macro tailwinds, and momentum. Bond yields might seem boring, but they're quietly shaping everything. Liquidity, risk appetite, and market direction. It all flows through the 10-year. If this trend holds short term, crypto needs to tread carefully, but long term, I'm still targeting $250,000 for Bitcoin in Q4. If anything changes in the data, I'll be the first to update you guys. Okay, so that's basically how I see it. Right? Didn't quite a bunch of analysis, trying to break this down as best I could, because I told you we have to watch it. And well, what throws a kind of water into this fire, right, was Trump just now. All right, the increase. I mean the pause. That pause, and the market is taking it really well, guys. Okay, so that's the important part of this. Those are the things that we have to watch out for. Okay, and let's go back to Bitcoin. But this big bounce, and I mentioned that I was expecting a bounce. Obviously, I didn't know that Trump was going to pause that. So I mean, that only helps. But still, it was still bouncing off this. You could see the wick off this line. Hopefully, we stay in this triangle. In the next 90 days, more than likely, I don't think we're going to drop much more, okay? Because the market was looking for some clarity, right? The big driver was the whole Trump tariff saga. That's why I've been putting it to your attention and kind of keeping you up to date and letting you know the important parts of it, because it is the driver, basically, of the price of Bitcoin and these other assets, because of because of its uncertainty, right? And how it affects the price of these risk assets. All right, so that's why I've been putting it to you guys, and this nice 90-day respite, which is all it could be right now. Okay, but hopefully they start coming to terms, right? I would love to see the U.S. and China come to good terms, right, and keep letting cooler heads prevail and letting everybody kind of win, especially us crypto people. All right, and I mentioned we need a catalyst. We need a catalyst to kind of move up, right? And we just got it. All right, so that's pretty cool. Good to see. Others bouncing back up. Look at that. Beautiful to see. Kind of hopefully trying to get back into right now, rejecting at 208 billion. It's funny how that is. And let's see if it kind of breaks through here. Okay, kind of breaks through here and gets back up to this line. And this could have just been it. All right, but we'll see. 90 days. So I mean, it's a catalyst to keep us kind of bullish and kind of moving up for the next couple of days. How I see it. Okay. Let's take a look really quickly at Mr. Miggles. What did it do? Okay, cool. Moved up. Everything is moved up, guys. I'm telling you, these are the plays. And I know it's scary. And I know it's so scary once you see all the stuff drop. And you're like, Jesus, did I make the right move? And then you're second guessing yourself. And I get it. I get it. But, if you make the right decision, if you have to have the courage of your conviction, if you watched it and you're like, man, I picked these for a reason, okay? Based on what I saw, based on my analysis, not just whimsical. I had a plan in my head, right? And this checked off all the boxes. If that is still the case, if you are still believing, other than just the negative price action, if you are still believing that these are good projects, then stay with your project, man. Stay with your projects. Doesn't have to be these, right? But I would look very strongly at these. For me, these are my projects, right? The Miggles, the Toshi. And right now, Toshi is looking like it is starting to consolidate, all right? Sideways. Notice how the other ones kind of kept dropping. Toshi's kind of staying more sideways. They're all kind of staying more sideways, actually. Right here too. But I think Toshi's time has come. All right, it's more sideways and then eventually the move up. It's a lot closer because it's consolidated for so long. You could call this a consolidation on Keyboard Cat. Keyboard Cat's holding right here, 00220. Right now it's at 0024. Keyboard Cat, man, Keycat's gonna do well. Dogging me, holding this line. I was worried it could have dropped down here. This is the one that I thought maybe it could have dropped down here. But I mean, if it holds this line, that's really positive, really good. Dogging me, guys. See, this is why I'm saying always, you know, maybe just nibble a little bit, just a little bit, right? Because you don't know what could happen. I didn't know about this Trump stuff. Pause. No one did. I guess it just came to that conclusion now, you know. But quick news like that, quick catalysts like that are enough to push the markets up, especially when we're in the bullish part of it. I thought before that tariff pause announcement, I thought we were gonna be dropping, going a little lower, right? For the foreseeable future, right? Maybe just kind of hang out here for a little while, for a couple of months, and then base out, right? And then start moving up. But maybe with this tariff pause, things maybe start moving up a little faster, right? And we don't come down here to 70,000, and maybe we kind of start moving up into 80s and 90s again. And if that's the case, oof, super incredibly bullish, guys. All right, because I still thought, like I mentioned, $250,000 at the end of the year, but I thought maybe we're gonna have a lull. We're gonna have a little mini bear market, right, for the next couple of months before we start moving back up, as we get some clarity on the whole Trump tariff situation. But we just got some clarity on the whole Trump tariff situation, and it was enough to put Bitcoin up to 82,270, guys. So hey, you know, this is why this is why we're always looking, and this is why we kind of DCA, right? Because you just never know. Right? You don't put it all in at once. You DCA. You keep watching the markets. You know, you position yourself accordingly, how you feel, what your best strategy is, based on your needs, based on your risk appetite, guys, based on what you see. But definitely, you know, take in information and then come to your own conclusions, right? I'm giving you my information now, and I'm doing my best to try to keep it unbiased, but I will always give my bias, and if I give my bias, I'm gonna let you know this is what I think. Okay, all right, and you can take it from there. We'll leave it there, guys. If you can, please like, subscribe, please leave a comment. I'm trying to grow this channel. All that stuff really does help. With all that said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace.